You're representing folks that are looking for certainty, and the cost difference between one regulatory scheme and another is insignificant as compared to the cost of delay, right? And so in that circumstance, I absolutely advise my clients to go with the most stringent standard, because if you're better than the existing standard, of course you're going to get through, right? But if you stop everything when the law changes to meet the new standard, and that new standard reverts back to the old standard that you are working under, that's going to result in delay.
Let's turn our attention to the Habitat Conservation Program or plan. And I think maybe we could start by just quickly defining it, because it's definitely not a common roll off your tongue phrase that you hear in the general public. So habitat conservation plans are set up by the Federal Endangered Species Act. And maybe you could talk a little bit about your experience with the Sacramento and the San Diego HCPs and kind of how they work.
I'm happy to do that. And the major benefit of an HCP is that they provide take coverage and authorization coverage, I think is basically how it's described in the HCP context, for projects that do not have what's known as a federal nexus. Now, if the entire project area that you're seeking to develop is within that federal nexus, i.e. you have wetlands on your property, or you have other federal involvement in your project, such that other federal permits, in order for the federal government to issue your permit, they need to engage in what's known as Section 7 consultation. Then you will receive what's known as take authorization in association with those federal permits, and then you'll be done. You will get, as part of those permits, you will get your take authorization under the Endangered Species Act. However, if you are in an area that doesn't have wetlands or any other federal nexus or permitting requirements, or if your only portion of your property is covered by that federal nexus, then you're going to need to obtain take authorization for any endangered species that are on the property. Hence the need for an HCP under Section 10 of the Endangered Species Act. And they are extremely costly and time-consuming to develop and have approved. And as a result, it makes the most sense to have them cover a large area. That also improves flexibility for what lands are subject to conservation, what lands are subject to development. In the South Sacramento HCP context, the permittees include Sacramento County and City of Sacramento. And I don't have a comprehensive list. I know Elk Grove sat out the South Sac.
Placer County has the PCCP, Placer County Conservation Program up there. And then, pretty much every region, the San Joaquin has one.
Yola, yeah. I can tell you, I have worked closely with the HCP staff at all Yola, San Joaquin, Sacramento, and a handful of other HCPs throughout the state. And it's really a mechanism to allow development to proceed despite the presence of endangered species in the area. But what it does is it provides a comprehensive management plan for those endangered species that ensures their continued survival and that they will thrive in a specific area that's permanently managed to ensure their habitats are continuing to be available while allowing development to proceed on other lands.